Hey guys, and coming up is New Japan Resurgence results. Uh, we had a one-night tournament to crown the inaugural Strong Women's Champion. The United States Heavyweight Championship mini tournament continues as well, and Jon Moxley would be in action as well. Starting things off was the two pre-show matches. First of all, the Bateman taking on the DKC. This was a nothing match. The dozens of people that were already in the building didn't seem to care. Throughout the match, Bateman utilized his size, forcing the DKC to use his speed. The DKC won the match by turning a submission into a quick pin. Christopher Daniels. And then with this kickoff match, the DK Crucifix lasted 8 minutes and 23 seconds. And that was a 20-minute time limit. And then for the second matchup, that was for the pre-show, the kickoff matches. Christopher Daniels took on Alex Coughlin. This was a fine match, but the lack of a crowd really did hurt. Christopher Daniels used heelish tactics, stepping on the toes and taunting early on, but Alex Coughlin used his size to his advantage. Daniels repeatedly wrestled Coughlin on the mat before attempting the Angel's Wings. Alex reversed before hitting a belly-to-belly and a pair of gut-wrench suplexes. Daniels escaped a German and hit the Angel's Wings, but Alex Coughlin kicked out at 1. Alex Coughlin then hit a German and a jackhammer to win the match. This matchup was also a 20-minute time limit for the match time of 9 minutes and 26 seconds. But now we see the first matchup take place, which was a tag team matchup, which was set for a 20-minute time limit. Virus and Barbaro Cavernario for CMLL took on TMDK's Zack Sabre Jr. and Bad Dude Tito. This was a fantastic opener to the main card, with the crowd now filling the seats. They were in it from bell to bell. Zack Sabre Jr. opened by taking Virus to the mat. Virus held his own, prompting a double tag. Tito and Cavernario squared off, with Tito gaining an upper hand. Virus involved himself to turn this match around, setting up more interference from both sides for the rest of the matchup. The closing sequence saw Tito land an impressive blue thunderbomb before Cavernario caught him in Cavernaria for a sudden submission victory for the CMLL pairing. After the match, ZSJ and Virus had an exchange involving the New Japan World TV belt, perhaps setting up a title match in the future. The matchup lasted 14 minutes and 5 seconds. Then the next matchup was a Strong Women's Championship Tournament first round match. Stephanie Vakir took on Mercedes Moné. This was a 30-minute time limit. This was another match on the ever-growing list of great Mercedes Moné matches. That's not to say it was all her, but because Stephanie Vakir looked good throughout the match. Before the match begun, The crowd showered Monet and cheers. Once the match actually began, Monet and Vakir had a prolonged back and forth sequence, with neither woman gaining much of an advantage. Monet attempted a Monet maker but couldn't connect. In response, Stephanie Vakir landed a DDT and a backbreaker for a near fall that took the win from the building. Vakir kept up the pressure, landing a barrage of offense. Monet avoided a leg drop to put Vakir on the back foot. She then landed a lung blower and the Monet maker to win the match, and ultimately advancing to the main event. The match time was 11 minutes and 55 seconds on this one. Just give me a quick second. A little drink break. Okay, sorry about that. For this next matchup was another first round match for the Strong Women's Championship tournament. This time around, Momo Kogo took on Willow Nightingale. This was another great match. Both women were fantastic throughout. Momo Kogo getting over an unfamiliar / adversarial audience was nice to see. Willow, though, was the clear crowd favorite from the beginning. A strike exchange left Willow back in control, but when she attempted a powerbomb, Momo Kogo reversed. A crucifix driver forced Willow to utilize the ropes to stay alive. Willow answered with a spine buster, but Momo kicked out. Kogo powered through a lariat, but was immediately dropped from the fireman's carry and finished with a powerbomb. This match time was 9 minutes and 37 seconds, which Nightingale advanced on to the main event. And then the fourth matchup occurred with no time limit, which was a street fight. Fred Rosser took on Juice Robinson. Juice and Rosser opened the match with some heavy strikes, but it didn't take long for the fight to spill to the floor. Fred attempted a driver on the entranceway, but Juice reversed, dropping him on the flat of his back. Juice then took this opportunity to attack Fred Rosser, choking him with a belt before dragging him back into the ring. After Rosser choked Juice with a chain from the Tree of Woe, Juice retreated into the corner to beg for mercy. While he was begging, though, Toni Storm hit the ring and attempted a low blow on Fred Rosser. Fred didn't budge before revealing he was wearing a cup. Instead of attacking Toni, though, Fred Rosser forced a kiss to Toni Storm. After the kiss, Rosser lifted Toni onto his shoulders, opening the door for a low blow from Juice Robinson. Juice landed the shot because Rosser dropped his cup after surviving the first low blow. Toni then dropped Rosser with Storm Zero, buying Juice a near fall. Rosser locked in a chicken wing, which Toni was unable to break up. Rosser threw Juice into Toni before landing a gutbuster and locking in the crossface again. This time, Toni broke up the submission with a beer bottle across the head of Rosser. Juice followed up with a spear through another door. Toni then landed a stop sign assisted flying hip attack, setting Juice up for a DDT onto a chair. This was ultimately enough for Juice Robinson to win the match. The match time here was 23 minutes and 10 seconds. Then for the fifth matchup, which was a 30-minute time limit, it was for the Strong Openweight Championship. Hikuleo was set to make his first title defense in a rematch up against Kenta. But first, Aussie Open's Kyle Fletcher came to the ring to announce that due to Mark Davis being injured, that they would have to relinquish both the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team titles and the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. But then we go on to the Strong Openweight Championship match. Hikuleo opened the match with a sudden boot that forced Kenta to retreat to the floor. Once Kenta was back, in the ring, he bumped the ref and attempted a low blow. Hikuleo blocked the low blow somehow and forced Kenta back onto the floor. The referee recovered just as Hikuleo and Kenta tried to climb the stairs into the crowd. Hikuleo bumped the referee, buying Kenta enough time to overwhelm Hikuleo and threw him over the guardrail, sending him crashing through a table 10 feet below. After this, the referee initiated the ring out count. Kenta made it back in the ring late into the count, but Hikuleo's fall left him unable to return to the ring. Kenta became the new Strong Openweight Champion via countout. The match time here was 11 minutes and 57 seconds. After the match, an Eddie Kingston video played to challenge the new champion. Kenta answered by saying he didn't understand He didn't understand Eddie's accent, but that he'll defend the belt anywhere, anytime. Then the next matchup was a trios match for a 30-minute time limit. Rocky Romero, Tomohiro Ishii, and Kazuchika Okada of Chaos took on Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. This was another excellent match in the quote-unquote Okada versus Unruly Children that has been the highlight of 2022 New Japan. Shota Umino was trying to challenge Okada as the match began, but Okada was uninterested in the fight. Instead, Tomohiro Ishii stepped up. While squaring off with Ishii, Shota taunted Okada before knocking him off the apron. An irritated Okada tagged into the match and dropped Shota with a boot. Okada then took the fight to the floor, slamming Shota into the barricade and pouring a beer across his back. Inside the ring, Okada dropped Shota with a flapjack and tagged back out. Shota and the BCC worked to isolate Rocky Romero. A DDT from Rocky to Jon Moxley resulted in a match breakdown. Once order was restored, Shota and the BCC continued their tactic of isolation, this time on Tomohiro Ishii. Ishii powered through, hitting Moxley with a brainbuster to tag out to Okada. With Okada and Shota illegal again, Okada wasted no time regaining control for Chaos. Shota responded with a backdrop and a DDT to put Okada on the back foot, but he couldn't hit the Death Rider. Instead, Okada landed the air raid crash and a flying elbow drop. After an extended brawl between teams, Okada dropped Jon Moxley with the Rainmaker. Umino made the save, hitting Okada with the Death Rider. Shota then dropped Rocky with the Death Rider and pinned him to get the win for his team. What I thought was interesting here was that Shota Umino was using the Death Rider, and also what I thought was interesting is how well Wheeler Yuta, John Moxley, and Shota all three worked together, especially Yuta and Shota. But Shota got the victory over Rocky Romero for his team with Death Rider, and that matchup was 19 minutes and 37 seconds long. Then the 7th matchup took place in a 60-minute time limit, which was the United States Championship No. 1 Contender Tournament first round match. Whoever won this was to take on Lance Archer at Dominion. And it was a 60-minute time limit here. The match opened with both men playing to the audience, but it didn't take long for Will Ospreay to take on Hiroshi Tanahashi. Take the lead on Hiroshi Tanahashi. He sent Tanahashi to the floor, where he landed a giant crossbody to secure the lead. Back in the ring, Will Ospreay continued to pick apart Hiroshi with deliberate offense. A quick forearm from Tanahashi opened the door for a momentum shift, but Will Ospreay was able to maintain control. A leaping forearm and a strike to the back of the head dropped Tanahashi. A strike exchange left Will Ospreay in a strong position. He climbed to the top, where he landed a forearm to the back. When Ospreay attempted Stormbreaker, Hiroshi reversed into a sling blade. After a second sling blade, Tanahashi tried to go for high fly flow, but Will Ospreay rolled through. A double stomp to the chest opened Tanahashi up for an Oz Cutter, Hidden Blade, and a Stormbreaker. Ospreay then pinned Tanahashi to advance, leaving him even closer to a rematch with Kenny Omega, but Lance Archer still stands in his way at Dominion. The match time here was 16 minutes and 44 seconds. And then finally, the Strong Women's Championship the first ever Strong Women's Champion would be crowned when Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné went 1-on-1. The match was a 30-minute time limit here. And this matchup was awesome. And it opened with an extended ovation for both women. The action started when Willow used a handshake to work Monet to the mat. This upset Mercedes, who tried working Willow down in response. Nightingale answered with a nasty pounce that sent Monet crashing into the ropes. Willow controlled the pace for quite some time. A stepped-up Enziguri left Mercedes grounded, allowing Nightingale to take the back. She then hit Monet with a spinebuster and locked in a deep Boston Crab. Once Mercedes escaped, Willow hoisted her on the top rope and landed a brutal superplex for a near fall. Willow powered out of Monet's crossface, hitting Monet with a brutal power bomb. Monet did not kick out of the pinfall that followed. The referee stopped the count at 2. Monet did seem to be genuinely rocked, but the match did go on. Willow then hit a second powerbomb and pinned Monet to win the match. In one of while the finish was awkward here, the match was pretty awesome. And Willow's a star. There's no way around it. Monet is the best as well. After the match, Monet was carried out of the ring. Willow cut the show closing promo with tears in her eyes. She thanked everyone, including Mercedes. This is only the beginning of Willow Nightingale, and it really shows. It does not say how long this matchup lasted, but I'm gonna guess it was at least 10 minutes long. Well, there you guys go. That was Resurgence results, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.